The more we release that which is not us, the more we unplug from the matrix, and the more we align with our own soul's core signature frequency, which allows us to be and express our own unique fractal of divine light or source consciousness. And the more we do that, the more our soul's codes become activated in our etheric template or soul blueprint. Welcome to Abundant Universe, your go-to podcast for becoming your most empowered, powerful, abundant, truest, and highest possible self through self-mastery, quantum healing, spiritual activation, soul expansion, and ascension. Here we talk about your self-concept, subconscious beliefs, science, spirituality, mindful manifestation, magic, mysticism, remembering and embodying who you really are, and all things esoteric. I'm your friendly neighborhood self-mastery and mindful manifestation mentor, energy alchemist, quantum healer, spiritual ascension activator, and host, Elle Brandlin. And today we're diving into part 1 of my series on soul blueprints, and I'm super excited because this is so fascinating and it literally explains everything about you. So stick around until the end to learn what your soul blueprint is, how it's influenced by your soul plan, and get an intro to how it's created so you can understand yourself better, because it literally affects every part of your life. And be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening, and if you're on YouTube and want to give this video a like and or a comment, that'll help other people who are into this sort of thing find what they're looking for. But without further ado, let's jump in. So let's start off with what the actual fuck is a soul blueprint anyway? Your soul has a plan for each lifetime according to the theme it has chosen to explore during that particular incarnation. And your soul blueprint is encoded with certain features, so interests, talents, gifts, proclivities, and affinities, plus your soul's core signature frequency, which allows you to fulfill the plan your soul has laid out. And some souls also have a mission, but others just incarnate to explore, learn, and expand. If you have a mission, your blueprint also contains a specific template for that, which we'll dive into more deeply on next Friday's episode. So if you've always felt like you were here for a reason and or you're meant for more, be sure to catch that episode. You can think of your soul blueprint as the energetic programming you brought into your life with which your soul encoded your etheric template. And we'll talk about how it actually does that a little bit later and a lot more in another episode coming soon. But this is much different than the physical programming we're subjected to once we get here. And I think this is an important distinction to make. You don't have a soul. Your soul has a human. Or to put it another way, you're not a human being having a spiritual experience. You're an eternal spiritual being having a temporary human experience. When your physical body dies, your energy returns to source and back to oneness because you are eternal. Now back to soul plans and blueprints. We don't only do what is in our plan and blueprint, and having it doesn't even mean we'll necessarily do all or any of the things in our plan, as we do have free will. And there are also openings for your free will to make changes throughout your life, depending on how much you learn, realize, and integrate. So your plan and blueprint don't limit you in the ways that you can express or experience the theme you've chosen to explore in any given lifetime. And incidentally, many people's themes right now have to do with waking up to the fact that you have the power and freedom to choose what you want to experience in your life. But let's talk a little bit about free will now because it seems to be highly misunderstood and hotly debated. The more we release that which is not us, the more we unplug from the matrix, and the more we align with our own soul's core signature frequency, which allows us to be and express our own unique fractal of divine light or source consciousness. And the more we do that, the more our soul's codes become activated in our etheric template or soul blueprint. And this actually gives us more access to our free will, which allows us to complete our soul plan and accomplish our mission if we have one, because our free will has been usurped by conditioning and programming that was installed by those who use it to keep us trapped, under control, and inside the matrix. Your soul plan is based on what your soul wants to experience and learn during each lifetime for its own evolution and expansion, which contributes to the evolution and expansion of the all, source, God, whatever you want to call it that resonates. And within your soul plan and blueprint, there are contracts or agreements that you've made to have certain experiences and meet certain people that you'll learn from, give to, and receive from. You may have certain karmic contracts with people that help you both learn lessons that your souls want to learn. You may have a contract to experience a divine union, which can oftentimes be turbulent during the awakening process. And you can even have contracts with animals and your pets, believe it or not, because they can teach us lessons and help us experience certain things too. Some of the agreements can feel negative or dense to our human selves based on the purpose of that contract because it may contain hardships, and these are usually considered karmic contracts. So, for example, if the purpose of a particular contract is to learn about freedom, the agreement may be that the other person oppresses you in some way so you can learn about and experience freedom by overcoming oppression. Because on the other side of difficult or challenging contracts is higher levels of consciousness that you can unlock, which leads to more soul evolution, expansion, and ascension. So, in my own past experience in this lifetime, it would seem that I had a soul contract to grow up in an extremely abusive and oppressive home so that I could really understand freedom by learning to overcome all of that. And now, before I wrap up this episode, I want to scratch the surface on how our souls create the blueprint for our specific incarnations. And we'll dive more deeply into this in another episode or more that will specifically be about the coding of our etheric templates. But when we choose to crystallize our consciousness into physical reality and go from being a non-physical, energetic being to inhabiting a physical avatar or body, we physicalize ourselves in a certain type of pattern or soul blueprint. It contains all the different experiences and lifetimes our linear thinking conceptualizes as the past or past lives, which we bring with us into the present and will carry with us into what we perceive as future lives in linear time. It's made up of a lot of different kinds of energies, frequencies, connections, other lives, places, and experiences. And part of our soul plan includes who you'll be born to, so soul contracts with your parents that provide your physical DNA, and exactly when and where you'll be born, so the exact day, time, and location of your birth, so that your etheric template is encoded with the precise planetary positions of your birth, which makes up part of your soul blueprint. You could also think of this as your spiritual DNA because it carries information just like your physical DNA does. It's just a different type of information. And this is where your interests, talents, gifts, spiritual gifts, proclivities, and affinities come from if they weren't inherited by your physical parents or your ancestors. It's basically a mix. So you're going to get all of those things from both your physical DNA and your spiritual DNA, which are all pieces of the puzzle your soul encodes in your spiritual DNA or soul blueprint to help you find your path, which potentially allows you to complete and fulfill your soul plan. So this is where your astrology, numerology, and human design charts come into play. But like I said, we're going to do at least one entire episode on that, maybe more, because it is very complex and super fascinating if you ask me. But if you want my help diving into your personal soul blueprint and plan, purpose, and mission if you have one, so you can discover your spiritual gifts and experience your soul's highest expression in human form in this lifetime, go ahead and hit up the show notes or description box below for all the ways you can work with me right now, because one of my soul's purposes is to help you remember and embody who you really are, how powerful you are, and what you came here to do. So I would recommend joining Sacred Soul Society at the very least, but that doesn't come with any individualized support, as it's more of a group program type of thing. So working with me one-to-one for at least 3 months is going to be a better fit if this is of deep interest to you, because you deserve to live in a reality of freedom, fulfillment, peace, the highest joy, excitement, magic, and abundance in every aspect of your life, simply by being and expressing your truest self, because that's what your soul came here to do. And I believe in you, so you should too. Much love.